Hey, up next to the Marmy Rock Show. Very glad to be talking with Jeff Cerzosie again. It's been quite a while. Jeff, part of that Cerzosie family, it seems to be in a little bit of everything. He's part of the Infinite Staircase. He's got a new single out. Very excited to hear about that. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. It's been way too long.
It really has. And last time I think I saw you. You were working with Le Projet, but you have got a single out. So tell everybody about your brand new single.
Yeah, the funny thing is, my new song is called "Cease to Be," and it's on iTunes and Amazon and all the digital places you can think of right now. You can stream it on Spotify and YouTube and all that. But it wasn't supposed to be like this big deal. Not that it is a big deal, but like I wasn't planning on doing interviews and promoting it or anything. And then it was just something that I was doing for myself, just kind of therapeutic. I wrote and recorded a song and it came out pretty good, I guess. I mean, that's what people tell me. and then it just kind of went from there. And my brother and I, we have this history of working with a lot of amazing people that we're very fortunate to work with. And I kind of did the same thing here, where it started out where I was just going to record an acoustic version of the song, which I did do. That's available as well. And I was working with Bob Pantella, the drummer from Monster Magnet and Atomic Bitchwax. And he's got this great studio out in Jersey. And, I recorded the acoustic demo, and we finished it. And he was like, "So you're going to add drums and guitars and bass and stuff, right?" And I was like, "Well, I wasn't planning on it, but if you got an idea." And then, he added some drums, which was awesome to have him play drums on it. And then I threw down a bass line, and then I was talking to Lou Musa, the guitar player from the Verve Pipe, which is one of my personal favorite bands. And, he agreed to do some guitar tracks and some backing vocals on the song for me, and he took the whole song to a whole new level. And JD from Black Label, of course, he didn't have a chance to do the bass on it. He's actually playing keyboards on the song, which is really cool. I mean, JD is one of those guys, he could pick up a paper towel and make it sound amazing, but it's not. It's a mellower song. So sometimes people hear Black Label members and Monster Magnet, and they might be expecting like this in-your-face heavy tune, and it's not. It's kind of mellow. It's kind of what I tell people. It's my attempt at kind of the Goo Goo Dolls meets Collective Soul in my own kind of weird, not as good way. But hopefully a couple of people will check it out, and they'll be the judge.
Yeah, so I was listening to the tune today, and it is a different vibe than what I was expecting, but it's a way cool tune. Now, what's the message behind the song?
You asked me that. No, I think it's kind of a universal message. I mean, there's a couple of ways you can look at it, and I always loved Ozzy's stance on explaining lyrics to his songs, that he always kind of shied away from it. I mean, we found out later on that part of the reason is because he didn't write a lot of them,
or he didn't remember it. Yeah,
yeah. But he always said that he always felt like if he said what it meant to him, it might ruin what it means to somebody else.
Sure.
I'm not going to completely cop out on that, but it's just it's an introspective and look at life, and just what it means to breathe, what it means to be, what it means to be alone or not to be alone. That's kind of the general vibe and feel of the song. And it was just something that I wrote the song a few years ago, and I just never got around to recording it. That's actually the first professionally recorded song that I've done that I've sang on in ever.
Oh wow!
I've done demos over the years, but I've never actually taken the time to go all out with the production and do something on this level. With the Infinite Staircase, I've sang a few tunes that we've played live or demoed, but never made it to the album. and for right reason. I always, my brother is a much better songwriter than me, and I'm a better songwriter when I feed off of him. You know what I mean? And so that's just kind of how the albums with the Infinite Staircase always worked, and this is the first thing I've done in 15 years outside of the Infinite Staircase. So
I was going to ask you, is it part of something larger you're doing, or is it going to be part of an Infinite Staircase record or part of a solo record you're doing, or is this just a standalone thing that you just had to get out there?
It's really, it's a standalone thing. I do have songs, and I'd love to record more songs like this because it was very therapeutic for me, and it was something that I just needed to do. but like I said, I really had no plans going into this. Like I was originally just going to release it, and the day it came out, I was just going to post on my Facebook page, "Hey, I have a new song out," and that was going to be it. And then next thing I knew, some people were interested, and a couple of other friends of mine, in addition to you, who are in the radio industry, they wanted to give it a spin or two, and started to get a little bit of a buzz, amongst a small circle of people.
So what else new do you have going on these days?
I just started a cover band.
Yeah, that was my next question. Tell us about that. So I saw that on your page. I was like, wow, you got a cover band going. So tell us all about that.
Yeah, back in 2009 when we toured with Black Label Society and Seven Dust and Dope, when we got back from the tour, just to kind of avoid going back to working a real job, I always wanted to start a cover band or a tribute band, and for one reason or another, it just never took shape. And so the very first band I was in when I was in high school was a local band called Mind Stain, and a friend of mine was playing guitar in the band, Joe Panaccio. And we hadn't spoken or seen each other for 20 years. And he reached out to me one day and was saying that he hadn't played in a long time. He really wants to play again. And I was like, well, I would love to start singing again and kind of get away from playing guitar a little bit. And we started talking about doing this cover project, and we've had a few rehearsals so far, and we're hoping to have our first show by the end of the summer. And it's called Frustrated Incorporated, the best and the worst of the 90s.
I love it.
And it's great. We're having a lot of fun right now, and there's a couple of great musicians that are involved as well. Tommy Zamp, he's a Jersey guy, and he's with the Michael Allman Band right now, and he plays with everybody and anybody basically on the East Coast, and he's an amazing musician and guitar player and singer. And, when he's available, he's going to play with us. We're going to kind of have like a revolving door of musicians. And what I'm hoping is once we do start playing out live, I'm hoping to kind of incorporate that kind of thing that my brother and I are able to do into our live shows. And, how cool would it be to go see a 90s cover band and have some of the guys that wrote the songs we're playing come out and play with us, So hopefully, maybe we'll be playing, and when we do a Candlebox song, maybe somebody from Candlebox will come out and play with us. Maybe Bob from Monster Magnet will come out and do a Monster Magnet tune with us. And I was stalking Lisa Loeb a couple of nights ago, and maybe she'll come out and play with us. I don't know. I have to stay at least 50 yards away from her, but that's another story.
You mentioned the people just coming out, and I always marvel when I talk to you and your brother. How is it that you've cast this net of all this talent that migrated to your band originally, to the Infinite Staircase, and you guys?
I have dirt on everybody. We're very lucky, and early on in the Infinite Staircase's career, I took a very simple ideal of it never hurts to ask, and I just kind of ran with it. And I would spend 24/7. It didn't come easy. I would literally spend 24/7 just learning and networking and emailing and I was while I was getting better at the business side of things, my brother was getting better at songwriting, and so it just kind of all worked together on its own. Like for every person who said yes to me, there's probably another 100 or 200 that didn't even say no, completely ignored me, and the internet's a blessing and a curse, and if you know how to use it, if you have the chops to back up what you're trying to sell people, you can turn it into a good thing. And so it started with Blue Saraceno in 2004. He played with Poison, he played with everybody basically, and he's like one of those guitar guys that my brother and I grew up idolizing. And he did a session for us, and that was like the first kind of awesome thing that happened for us. And then the real big thing for us was we put together a charity show for multiple sclerosis, and Kevin Martin from Candlebox, I contacted him on MySpace at the time, and he was touring, he was playing with the High Watts, and he agreed to do the charity show.
Wow.
And he just became such a great friend to us, and he literally kicked that door open for us because, we got to become good friends when we did the charity show together, and then it just so happened that the following year, Candlebox reunited. And when Candlebox reunited, my brother and I was still playing acoustic at the time, and he's like, get a full band together. When we come to Jersey, you're opening for us. And I was like, holy crap, And so we did it. And he got our foot in the door at Starland Ballroom in Sayreville, New Jersey. We opened for Candlebox. And then I was able to take that show and parlay that into, 10 more shows at Starland, opening for everybody else who came through town. I mean, we opened for everybody from, Wasp and Lily and Axe to, Eddie Ojeda from Twisted Sister, and we slowly started building it up. We started playing with bands like LA Guns, and we started playing with bands like Fuel, and so on and so forth. And then, obviously, then 2009, we got our big break with the Black Label tour, and that's when we started making even more friends in the industry. And if you're not a certain kind of a-hole, then you'll keep your connections to other people in the industry who also aren't certain kinds of a-holes, and sooner or later, we just gel, and I mean, we've got this great relationship now with guys like Kevin and JD, and even now, the guys from the Verve Pipe. I mean, that's like the newest kind of connection for me, and I had a great time working with Lou. Like my new song, the bridge of the song, when I recorded it, it was completely different vocally. It was just one of those things I just couldn't get past it. Like I was never truly happy with it, and I kind of settled for it. And we played with the Verve Pipe in the middle of me recording that song. We played with them at Mount Airy Casino in Pennsylvania, and he was talking to me after the show, and he was like, I have some ideas for that part. And his ideas were great, and I went back in the studio and changed it. And so the vocals and the bridge to the song were completely different. And then Lou really opened my eyes to another kind of type of songwriting that I wasn't able to kind of get to on my own. So that's one of the other cool things about working with all these guys from all these different bands and backgrounds, is you learn something new from each and every one of these guys.
Yeah,
it's great.
You guys definitely, that's a great, that answer to that question is kind of a great tutorial for, up and coming musicians to listen to, and all the hard work. And we definitely witness it with you. Your new single is called Cease to Be. And that one features Lou Musa from the Verve Pipe, Black Label Society's J.D. Cervino, and Monster Magnet's Bob Pantelis. So, Jeff, man, I'm going to play the song on the radio show tonight, and it's always a pleasure talking to you. And, man, you're always welcome on the show, and I appreciate you doing this tonight.
Thank you, man, and I really appreciate it. Can I just get one quick plug in?
Absolutely.
That I forgot.
Absolutely.
I just mentioned about Mount Airy Casino. I haven't had a chance to announce it yet, and it's like 99% definite, but I'm actually doing 2 solo shows this summer. It's going to be cover gigs, but I'm playing at the Guy Fieri's restaurant
Nice.
inside Mount Airy Casino in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania on June 30th, which is a Friday, and then Friday, July 14th, I'm going to be playing by myself, acoustic guitar, vocals, and I'll be doing like three sets of covers from every decade I could possibly figure out. Every decade that uses a G, C, and D chord, I'll be playing songs from.
Nice. Go over and check out Jeff Cerzosie. That's Cerzosie. You can find his Facebook page and find out where those shows are going to be in case you have forgotten them. And Jeff, man, thanks a lot for being here.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate it.